some controversial remarks made about Tim Tebow.
Oh,
Shocking.
here he goes again. Can you believe this? Les Shapiro talking about Tim Tebow.
But
I
I
hated Tim Tebow, the player.
I didn't make the remarks. Jay Feelys, a longtime kicker in the NFL, made these remarks. Let me show you these quotes. Jay Feelys says, he's such a dichotomy for me because I really respect the person, the man, the things he believes in, and the things he does off the field. But he was the single worst quarterback I ever saw in my career in the NFL. I watched him one day. I sat and watched him do routes on air, meaning nobody was covering the receiver and nobody was rushing the quarterback. I sat and watched him do routes on air with Ken Wisenhunt as we were playing the Broncos. And routes on air, there are no defensive backs. You know exactly what he's going to run. There's no pass rush. He had like 13 incompletions on routes on the air. Woody, this is what you and I watched in practice, and this is what you and I watched in training camp. And that's why I knew from day one this guy would not have sustained success as an NFL quarterback. So I'm in total agreement with what Feelys said. A lot of people don't care what Jay Feelys says because he doesn't even have a team right now, and he was a kicker. But you know what?
He is a kicker. Somebody will pick you up. Pick him up.
Yeah.
Let me bring up Jay Feelys first because I love Jay Feelys, and I mean that. Jay Feelys would, when he was with the Jets, would work as a fill-in with me and Skip Bayless on the show called Pizza. And when Skip would leave, I loved working with him because he's a very intelligent guy. People think of him as just a kicker. He studies the game. He's going to end up being a coach if he wants to be. He's going to be on TV. So he's saying some of this because he wants a good television career.
Sure.
And he will be a top analyst, sort of like there was a safety for the Broncos that's one of the top analyst in all of it. It's going to be a Hall of Famer. But
Talking about Brian Dawkins?
No.
John Lynch.
Yeah,
Okay.
John Lynch. Brian Dawkins is doing some TV, but he's not one of the top analysts. Here's the other. So Jay worked in my place when I took a week's vacation. He worked with Bayless during the offseason. I came back in my dressing room and on the mirror it says, "I heart you, Jay." He said, "You're a lot better than the other guy." And so I'm prejudiced with Jay. And Jay has carved out a great career for a guy who was not a long kicker with Arizona and the Jets and a number of other teams. But Jay and you, we had on the show about 3 weeks ago Tom House.
Yes.
Tom House worked with Tom Brady. He's worked with a lot of top former major league pitcher, but he talks about arm and location and mechanics. He said to you and me when he answered a question to you that Tebow is a different passer now, that he'd gotten so much information and that he goes to Philadelphia. They have a one-day workout. They sign him to a year's contract. So Feely is talking about the old Tim Tebow. That's what you keep referring to.
Oh, Woody, how
Tim
many
Tebow.
times have we heard, yeah, I worked with him and he looks a lot better now. You know how many times we've heard that in the last 4 or 5 years? We heard it on an almost daily basis when he was with the Broncos. I don't believe it for 1 second. He is what he is. He's 27. This is the way he throws the ball. This is the way he is unable to read defenses. I mean, look, and Chip Kelly's not even going to use him as a conventional quarterback. He's going to run the ball with Tim Tebow. That's what he's going to do.
You heard for 25 years how crappy I was. Don't you think I've gotten better?
I do. I believe you're a better person. Your writing has always been good, but you're a better person now.
Really?